Okay, friends, this knot is called the Larks Head knot, and you are going to use this every time you do any kind of basic macrame. So I'm going to show you with the keychain ring, but if you have the cinnamon bark stick, you will do this exact same thing. So the Larks Head knot, you take your string and you fold it in half and make sure that it is pretty even in the bottom. And then you are going to either put it over the stick or put it through the keychain, the loop, and then bring it down and pull these two through that loop. And this is how you attach your strings, your cords, to whatever it is that you are doing. So let's do that again. Got another one here. Fold it in half. Stick the loop through, pull it down, and then pull these two through that loop. The main thing I want you to pay attention to when you're doing any other kind of projects is you want the loop portion to be in the front and you want them to match. So you don't want to have one that looks like a butt. You want the butts in the back, y'all. You don't want one that looks like this. You want them both to look like this. And I'm going to go ahead and show you on the cinnamon stick. You guys can see I've got 4 already here together and 2. So see how they all have that same loop in the front. Butts in the back.
Will you do one more for us?
Sure. I'm going to take this off. Okay. Take your loop, stick it through or over, and then you just take these 2 and stick them through that loop in the back. You get it, Carissa? I'll do it again. Here, I'll do it on a stick too. Yeah, I was just doing the same thing. So here's with the stick, just in case you need to see it. You just loop it over and then pull it through.
So you can go ahead and do this. Emily's going to show a couple more times, but you can go ahead and put all of, if you're doing keychain, you have 4 that you'll need to do. If you're doing the car diffuser, you have 8. So get busy.
You actually have 9 because you have a hanger thing too. But I'll show you that in a minute.
Don't worry about the hanger right now.
All right, I'm gonna pass it to you, Em.
Okay, so now we are going. Let me put you on spotlight.
You go ahead. I'm gonna find you eventually.
I found it. There we go. So now we are going to do the square knot. I am going to give just a minute though to make sure everybody has all of their lark heads real quick. If you are done with your lark's heads, I want you in the comments to tell me your name, where you're from, and I don't know, what you do. So your name, where you're from, and what you do. Heather, the keychain yarn is a little bit shorter than the car yarn.
Love having these people from all over the place.
Yeah, literally from all sides of the US. Yeah, we have literally from New York to California. That's awesome. As I see hands slowly finishing up the knots, I'll go ahead with our square knot. Amanda,
wait.
Go ahead.
I'd say wait. Yes, 4 on a keychain, 8 on the card diffuser. We're going to show you the keychain first. So if you are doing both, I think Heather, you got a few. So just start with the keychain for right now.
Can anybody hear a crying baby in the background?
While y'all are finishing up, we are teaching you the exact same knots, both the keychain and the card diffuser have the exact same style. And I meant to bring up a wall hanging that I used the exact same knots for as well to show you guys how many ways you can use these 3 knots that we're teaching you. And I'm going to spotlight you on that one, unless you're going to put it where your cords are.
Yeah, you can spotlight the other.
So see, these are the exact same knots, but in a wall hanging.
So this one was one of my first ones, and my butts are not in the back, they're in the front. But this is the square knot that we're gonna do, and then this is the double clove hitch that we will learn as well. And then my Larks Head are on the other side.
That's in the front. It really doesn't matter as long as they're the same. All right, I'm gonna spotlight your back. Oh, you got it?
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with a square knot. We're gonna do a couple of square knots. So if you are still working on Larks Head, please take your time, don't feel rushed. I'm gonna do it a couple of different ways. The first time I'm doing it, this one only has 3 strings for right now, but I'm gonna use numbers. So I'm gonna say from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is just me simply giving it numbers for the sake of teaching for right now. So you're going to bring number 4 over 2 and 3, kind of looks like the number 4. Then string 1, you're going to bring over 4. And then you're going to pull it behind. And you're going to pull it through 3 and 4. And then you're going to pull that tight. And we're going to do this a couple of times, and next time I'll use lefts and rights and whatnot. And then to complete the square knot, you're going to go backwards. You're going to go 1 over 2 and 3. Then you're going to get 4 and put it over 1. And then get 4 and pull it through 1 and 2. And then pull it tight. and then you'll have your first square knot. Okay, we're going to do that again. The right over the middle two. And then the one that was on the left should be over that one. And then you're going to take it behind the middle and bring it through the loop on the right. And pull it tight.
I do want to say, if you haven't taped your stick or keychain down, do that. See how she has a clip on it? This will make it easier for you to hold in place. So you can like tape two sides, you know, just have 2 strings on the stick, your 4 strings on your keychain. You can tape the top of the keychain and tape the sides of the stick down. Hannah says, can I pause?
Yes. Chris, right now I'm just teaching the knot. We're going to go back in just a minute, actually. I'm just going to do it this a couple of times, and then we'll kind of undo it and go back and redo it the correct way. Yes, Hannah, I do have only 3 strings just for right now for the sake of teaching this knot, but I am going to put my 4-string one up in just a minute. So if you notice with the square knot, there's like a loop right here, and then it alternates, and it's on the left. And so I'm going to do one more on this just to show that now it'll be on the right. So left across the middle 2, take the right one, pull it through the loop on the left, and pull it tight. So now I have my loop on the right, and that'll go back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to take this off now, and I'm going to use my actual keychain. So if you still have your square knots in, go ahead and take them out. We're going to start fresh, and we will actually use these knots now. So take out your square knots, and I'd like for yours to look like mine. If you are doing the card diffuser, make sure you have all of your Larks heads, and you can, Emily, do you want them to start on their square knots or just wait?
Yeah, you guys can start. I would just keep working on those square knots across the top. So since we have 8 cords, you're going to do 4 square knots across the top, where Emily's only going to do 2 with Emily H is only going to do 2 with the keychain. So yeah.
And I will show what to do after you get your first line. Okay, so here's my actual keychain. I have my 4 cords now. You do start with the 2 on the right or the 2 on the left, whichever ones you want to do. So remember, right over the middle 2, the one on the left over behind the middle 2 and through. Remember, if you have any questions or need me to slow down, please stop and put it in the comments. Now my left one is going over the middle 2. My right one is going over the left, behind the middle 2, and through. And pull it tight. So now I have one full square knot. Now I'm going to go to my 2 strands on the left. I'm going to do the same thing. The right one over the middle 2.
Hey, Em, will you slow down a little bit?
Yep. The one on the left behind the middle 2 and through the right. Pull it tight. Remember, you want to pull it tight after everything. The one on the left over the middle 2. The right over the left. Behind the middle 2 and through the left. And pull. So now I have 2 square knots. If you're done with those 2 square knots and you don't mind, in the comments, will you tell me if me teaching it by lefts, rights are easier for you, or numbering the strings 1, 2, 3, 4?
Heather asked for another, if you'll just maybe pull one of your square knots out and do it again.
Yeah.
And Alyssa says left to right.
Okay. Okay.
Hannah says to be determined. Maybe also make the point, make sure they notice that they're wrapping around the 2 in the middle, that those aren't part of the knot.
Yes, the 2 in the middle, they really are just staying there. They're not doing anything. I'm simply just making a knot around those 2. So you're going back and forth. If you take your right over one time, then you'll take your left over the next time. So now I'm bringing my left over the middle 2.
Okay, Heather and Chris have said, wait, can you explain? I think they're asking about the 2 in the middle that aren't being used. Chris, is that correct? I can see your head. Can you nod? No, she wants more explanation.
Okay.
Step by step, one more time.
Let me finish off this, or I'll undo it again. You're going to bring the right one over the middle 2, and it kind of makes like a 4. Then the one on the left over the right one, over this one, and then you're going to take this one and bring it through 3 and 4, or the right. So if you can see, this one on the left goes behind and then through here. Pull it tight.
Do that one more time. That was good.
So then my left one over the middle 2. My right one over that one. And then take the right one behind and through the loop on the left and pull. Okay, I'm still going to be doing the square knots, but now I'm going to do the next step. So if you still need help with your square knots, you're still going to get it, but I'm going to go ahead. So we have our 2 square knots at the top there. And now I'm going to get the left 2 on the square knot on the right and the right 2 from the square knot on the left. So I still have 4 strings in my hand. I'm just leaving out the
Hang
two
on.
left.
If you're doing the car diffuser, yes, keep working on this knot, like get this knot down. So we've got some questions. So one, Kelly says if she holds the non-used ones taut while she's doing this, like holding it in one place, that helps. So yes, and that kind of like some people grab this easy and like get it, and some people this is hard to do to figure out how to hold everything. Pam asked how many rows of square knots. So across the top for the keychain, 2, and for the top of the car diffuser, 4. So Gracie, since you're doing the car diffuser, you want 4 square knots across the top, and you want them to look as identical as possible. So if they don't, take them out and go ahead and work on them again. At this point, I would wait and not do more than the top row for the car diffuser, but just keep working on the square knot until you feel pretty confident in it. And then Heather says, hang on, do you always do left to right?
It can, Heather, you can do left to right. I typically bring the right over first, but if you want to bring the left over first, that's fine. The key is just to make sure you're alternating between bringing the right over, bringing the left over.
Will you take out one of your knots again and show them the half of the knot first?
Yeah.
So the entire square knot is both right and left. So the top one on her left right now is just the right one that went through first.
And you can see that this was my right string originally. You can see it kind of coming in, and there it is. So Heather, if you want to bring your left over first, that's fine. I bring my right over first typically, but then I'll bring the left one, or what was the right, back over. Okay, so if you're doing the keychain, you're going to get the middle 4. So the right 2 of the left one, the left 2 of the right square knot. Sorry, it's lots of lefts and rights. Basically, you're leaving out the side 2. I'm just going to put them.
You're creating a whole new set of 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I'm going to do it again. I'll do it first using rights, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm bringing the 4th string over 2 and 3. String 1, I'm putting over 4. And then I'm bringing string 1 behind 2 and 3 and through this loop of 3 and 4. And then pull tight. So I just brought over the right. Now I'm going to bring the left one over. Left one over 2 and 3. Right one over, sorry, 4th one over 1. Behind 2 and 3. And through 1 and 2. And pull tight. So now I've completed that square knot in the middle. Now I'm going to bring these back down, and I'm going to do it again, 1, 2. So if you notice, there's 2, now 1, and then I'm going to do 2 again, and then 1. So get the 4 on the right side, 4 over 2 and 3.
Pause. Heather asked for a pause. Heather, I'm going to mute you. Or I'm going to ask you to unmute. What you got?
Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted.
No, I'm unmuting you so you can tell. What is it? Are you just trying to catch up?
Yeah. I was just trying to. I couldn't remember if I started with the left or the right for the middles.
You're good.
Oh my gosh, Emily, which one did you start with? 4 or 1?
Always start with 4 typically. That's just how I do it. If it's easier for you to start with 1 on the left, go for it.
No, I just need to remember which one I started with.
I guess it's because I'm right-handed, but I always do the one on the right first.
I'm going to meet you again, Heather. While we're kind of waiting for other people to catch up, Keychain people, if you've got your 4 across the top, then you can start doing some of these other ones below, but I promise you, we'll get to you in a few minutes. I also still have to teach the other knot.
I am going to just keep working. I'll keep explaining, but I'm going to keep doing my knots. So I've brought over my right. Now I'm bringing my left back over. The 4th one or the right one over, behind, and through 1 and 2. Pull it tight. So you'll notice once you get into this 3rd row that you'll have this little gap right there. That's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to take my 4 that are on the left side, the right one over the middle 2, the one on the left over the right, behind the middle 2, and through the right loop, the loop between 3 and 4, and pull it tight. The rope on the left over the middle 2. My right rope is over the left, behind the middle 2, and through 1 and 2. Pull it tight. So now I have 3 rows, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to get the 4 in the middle again, so I'm going to leave out the 2 on the sides. So now I have the 4 in the middle. The one on the right over the middle 2, the left one over the right, behind the middle 2, and through the loop on the right. Pull it tight. The one on the left over the middle 2. The one on the right is over the left, behind, pull it through the loop on the left, and pull it tight. And now I'm going to do 2 again. Rope 4 over 2 and 3. Rope 1 is over 4. Rope 1 goes behind 2 and 3 and through 3 and 4. And pull it tight. Rope 1 over 2 and 3. Rope 4 over 1, behind 2 and 3, and through the loop on the left. Rope 4 over 2 and 3, 1 over 4, behind 2 and 3, and pull tight. Rope 1 over 2 and 3, rope 4 behind 2 and 3, and over. So those that are doing the keychain, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 total rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then actually 8. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Emily, do you want to go ahead and show your I just want like square knots on your
Sure.
card diffuser?
Sure.
Those that are doing the keychain, you want 8 total layers. You can keep working on those while Emily does her card diffuser real quick.
So friends, you have this little hanger. I don't know if you already put it on, but I put it in the middle. You do the exact same Larks Head. Like go half and half, like half the string, put it in the very middle, loop it around. The gold is, because I just pulled it out, it's going crazy. But then you've got this string that you can then tie. You can add the lava bead to and hang it from this. And then you want 4 of your cords on one side of it. And what's nice is you can move them around. So if you don't have that in there yet, go ahead and do that. And then you want 4 cords on one side and 4 cords on the other. Let me catch up. And then we're gonna do the square knots just to catch all of us up together. And then I'm gonna teach you the third knot. And I, before I got this board, would tape the little hanger on my table. Okay, so we want 4 square knots across the top. And similar to Emily, I typically start on the right. So again, you're making that, it can look like a sail or a 4. You want your far outside one to go over the end over here, and then under the 2 in the middle and through the loop. Hopefully you guys followed Emily and have that. So let's make 4 square knots at the top. And hopefully the rest of y'all are practicing. There's 1. And if any of you who are doing the card diffuser don't have the square knot and want me to slow down and do it again, let me know. But I'm gonna kind of bust through this because I feel like you guys have gotten a chance to do that. And so if you've got all 4 of yours at the top, go ahead and take the far left 2 and the far right 2 and move them out of your way. And we're gonna do something similar to what Emily was doing. How nuts is it that we're both Emily? I think that's kind of funny. All right, so far left 2 cords, get them out of your way. I've twisted. Far right 2 cords, get them out of your way. And now we're gonna create 3 knots underneath the 4. And this is where we break pattern from what the keychains are doing. So I've kind of got mine in the groups of 4 that I want them to be in. So we'll have 3 different sets of square knots. Which again is always doing one way, starting with the right, and then starting with the left. If you don't do that, your knot will start to turn. So you'll know pretty quick if you're like doing some knots and all of a sudden they start twisting, that's a completely different knot. So congratulations, you did something new. But you don't actually want that for this. You want to do the right side and then the left. So see how I have a knot here, similar to what the keychain was doing. But now I'm going to put that one to the side and start a new knot here in the middle. Does everybody get that? Good. Let us know if you've got any questions. And then I put that one to the side and I'm going with the last 4 cords and making my 3rd square knot.
I have put in tight instructions for the square knot in the comments if you need them. And I've also put in how many square knots you need in each row for the card diffuser. If you're making the keychain, remember there's 8 total rows or layers, and your last layer for the keychain will have just 1 square knot. You'll end it with 1.
Okay, now back to, so we just made 3 square knots. You want to take the 2 on the left, move them out of the way, and the 2 on the right. So now you actually have 4 cords on the right and 4 cords on the left. And you're going to make 2 square knots with the ones in the middle. So we're actually making an upside down V with this design, which is what the keychain's also going to end in with a point at the bottom. So now we're going to do 2 square knots with these, or a square knot with these 4. And then move that out of the way and make a square knot with these 4. All right, so now we've got 4 at the top, 3 on the second row, 2 on the bottom row. Same thing now, take 2 on the left and the 2 on the right and move them out of the way. And we're gonna do our last square knot to make the upside down triangle or V. So, keychain, card diffuser. Does everybody have their, for the card diffuser, do you have your 4 rows? And for the keychain, do you have your 8 rows? Carissa, I can see you. Yep. Okay, Kelly says, I think so. Is your card diffuser finished down to the 8? Perfect. So this is what the card diffuser would be looking at like at this point. Patty, you have 10 rows on the keychain? Perfect. Okay, Patty, you may want to go back up to 8 so you still have enough cord to do what else we're doing. But if you like it like that, again, these are your creations. So if you're like, this is what I want, then that is fine. But I'm going to teach you guys how to do the double clove hitch now, and we're going to finish them off so that, if you'll put it back on me, so that you have, when the keychain's finished, you'll have these lines that you can do on the bottom. And not the keychain, the card diffuser. And then the keychain would look like this, or like this. Just to show you one more, thicker yarn. They all, same knots, all different sized yarn, and how different they can look. Okay, we're gonna start with our far right cord. So everybody do the exact same far right cord. This is going to be your guiding cord. So see how I brought it taut across the bottom, kind of keeping it close to the triangle side. You want to always keep this kind of taut. When we tie knots, we normally tie them where there's 2 knots together and they're both kind of loose. What we're going to do now, you want to keep this one as straight as possible while you tie these around it. So I'm going to move my left side out of the way. So you want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cords over here, or 4 if you have the keychain. And right now, I wouldn't worry about making the keychain or the card diffuser. I just want you guys to kind of work on this knot. So we're going to take it taut. I'm going to take the very next cord to it. So this was originally number 1. Now we're taking this one. I hold my cord that's taut with my middle finger and my thumb. And then it's so weird to teach things because I'm like, I normally just do this. And then my pointer finger goes underneath it. And I wrap this other cord around my pointer finger and put it through the one that's taut. So I'm gonna do that again. So I've got this cord, the far right one. I'm bringing it over. I'm holding it with my middle finger and my thumb. And this finger is underneath so I can hook the second cord around it. And then I've got this little loop and I bring it through the top of the loop. And then keeping this one taut, see how this one's kind of like in a little, let's see if you guys can see if I move these. See how this is kind of wrapped around it? You pull that one tight and it makes like a little Cheerio. So I'm gonna do it again. All these out of the way. Keeping it taut. This finger goes underneath. Wrap the second one underneath and through the back of that loop now. Keep this one taut. You'll have this little loop and pull it tight. And you do 2 of those with each one of these cords. So I'm gonna do this a second time, wrap it around, see, stick it through, and pull it tight. So you should have 2 little Cheerios now. And then you're done with this cord, move it off to the right, take the very next one in line. So another way to think about this, if you don't like, if your fingers can't do the holding the 2 with the middle and the thumb and keeping that one underneath, is you literally can just hold your cord tight and drop that one over. And then you've got this big loop here, you just grab the tail and pull it through. and then pull it tight. So I'll do that again. Take the end of it, drop it over. You got this big loop here, pull it through and pull it tight. So always do it twice. That's how this knot holds. So it's called the double half hitch because you need to do it 2 times with each one. So now I'm going to take my third cord, which for the keychains will be your last one on this side. We're going to drop it over and pull it through. Drop it over, pull it through. How are we doing? I see a thumbs up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. So for our card diffuser people, you're actually gonna continue that line with the last 4 chords. You're gonna do 2 with this one, 2 with this one, 2 with this one, 2 with this one. But wait for right now, because I'm gonna do this again going the other direction, just to make sure we know how to do it in both directions, okay? So you take your far left chord, hold it taut, following the V, and you take the second one, again, holding it with my thumb and my middle finger. This pointer finger goes underneath. You wrap it around and stick it through. And keep this one taut. You pull it tight so you get a little Cheerio. And do it again. This finger underneath, wrap it around, pull it through the loop, pull it tight so you have 2 little Cheerios. And I'll do it again with the next one. This one, if you don't like that way, you just hold your cord taut, drop it over, and then pull it through the loop. Drop it over, pull it through the loop.
And this is one of the most difficult knots, at least in my opinion, to get. So if you're getting it, way to go. I know, I see your thumbs, Carissa. Way to go.
All right, so keychains, once you get your first 3, you can actually start, and I'll pass it on to Emily if she wants, but I'm gonna go back to the right side and finish this line with these. I can go to the second one real quick. The
Okay,
second row.
Show the card diffuser now.
Go for it.
Double clove hitch. Okay, so you're doing the same thing with your card diffuser. I mean, you're doing the same thing that the card diffuser did with your keychain. You're going to bring the one on the right, and you're going, we just have a couple of clove hitches to do, double clove hitches. I'm going to keep it taut, and then I'm going to get the second one from the right. I'm going to bring it over and through that loop. So notice the one that you're keeping tight, it's just staying there, and you're just grabbing the next string in to do the knots. So this is my second one. That's why it's called a double clove hitch. So that one's done now. I'll put it off to the side. Now I'm going to get the second one in, bring it over the one I have tight, behind and through that loop. One more time, over, behind, and through. That one's done now. And the last one, so for the keychain, you're going to do 3 strings on each side. And your fourth one is the one that is staying tight.
Carissa says she likes it better because it's a little bit like knitting. It absolutely is. If you've crocheted, which is my background, I've crocheted most of my life, or knitted, some of these are super like, you're like, oh, I recognize this. It's very similar.
Okay, now I'm going to do it from the left on the keychain. I'm bringing the right one, sorry, the one on the left, I'm going to keep tight. The second one, I'm bringing over, behind, and through, pulling tight. I'm doing it again, over, behind, and through, and pulling tight. Now I'm going to the next one. Over, behind, and through. Over, behind, and through. And the last one. Over, behind, and through.
Gracie said show the left side again on the card diffuser. Sure. Oh, will you get yours off? I always do the wrong one. Thank you. So Gracie, I finished it. I'll start with it on the next row. I'm going to go ahead and just let you guys know, both for the keychain and the card diffuser, you're going to end up with 2 strings in the middle because you just did 3 for the keychain on one side, 3 for the keychain, and 7 on the card diffuser. So then I alternate who gets to be the dominant one at the end, because you still want to do a wrapping. So Gracie, I'm actually going to show you from the left. It doesn't matter which one you do, because right now you've got equal numbers and you just have to pick one or the other. So from the left, I'll do it where I drop it. You have the one that's tight or taut, and then you have the one that you want to wrap around it. You just drop it over. It's not doing it the way I want it to. And then you pull it through that loop. Do it again. And now everyone should have a V. And your one from the far right wandered all the way down here and is now on the left side on the inside. Same far left one, this came down and is now part of your right side. And then to do, like I did 2 rows here, you can do 3 rows depending on how many strings you have. Thicker yarn, I only did 1 row because that's all I had. At this point, you could trim yours and say I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and do from the left again, another row for both the keychain and the card diffuser. If you want to, you should have enough cord to do that. So I'm taking the far left cord, pulling it taut. I'll move all of these out of the way. And you're going to do 7 double clove hitch, heading down following the V. So I like to do it where I hold with my middle finger and my thumb, and then put the pointer finger underneath and wrap it around. Do it again. Wrap it around. Gracie, do you need it described in a different way, or are you good? You'll just let us know. Kind of like Emily said, this is one of those, I actually got really good at doing them going to the right and then had a harder time going to the left. My best friend who brought me hemp for my birthday and we tried to do this, she quit with this knot. She was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. She has taken it back up, but she was mad that weekend because it bothered her so much.
Yes, I'm the same, Emily. This one, it took me a while to get it on the left. One thing that helped me get it on the left better is I would go over to the right side and do a couple just to like get my brain thinking right. And then I would go back over to the left and mimic it.
All right, I'm gonna do it slow again. I've got the top one and then the one I'm wrapping around it. You take from the left to the right, lay it over, and you've got this big loop and you just pull it through. And then you've got a little loop that's gonna get tight around the cord. And you keep this taut because you don't, here, I'll show you guys what happens if you don't keep it taut. If you just tie it, actually it's still staying taut.
It doesn't always.
Sometimes it'll flip. And so then all of a sudden you've got, I can't make it do it now that I want it. You will end up, see how it flipped? So now this one's more taut and this one's wrapping around. It won't look right. See how it's like a little donut on the bottom. But here's what you can do. You just pull this one tight and then the other one normally wraps around it. So again, keychain, you're doing 3 knots on both sides. Car diffuser, you're doing 7. And so after you have your ones on the left, we go over to the right. Is there anyone else who needs to see this one slower or in a different way? The double clove hitch.
I'm going to put it back on the keychain for a minute just to do my second row there for people to see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the right side first.
Lindsay said slower, please. She missed it because she had to run the dogs out. So Lindsay, watch M for a second. And if we have to, we can. I also sent y'all a video in the email yesterday, and this is the knot that was in that email. So you can go watch my YouTube video.
Lindsay, I'll start over on the second row. Grab the one that's all the way on the right. Keep it tight at a diagonal. Grab the next one to the left. Bring it over behind the tight one and pull it through.
Carissa and Andrea, when she's done with her second row, I'll show you what to do with the middle one again. You should have 2 in the middle from both sides. Or actually, you can show them in.
Yeah. If you notice on my keychain real quick, my row on the right comes down farther. That's because I let my right lead. Actually, I let my left one lead. So I'm going to do the opposite this time when I get down to it. So I have my 4. I'm going to do my left side. Carissa, you can do as many as you have string for. So I have 2 rows on the right. If you still have long strings down, that are left, you can make another one, however many you want now.
You just do the 2 knots. You do the 2 loops around one of the leads. You pick a side, and then the next time you do it, you do the opposite side.
So Andrea and who else had this question?
Carissa.
Carissa. I'm down to my last 2. This last time I guess I did let my right lead. I'm gonna let my left lead this time. So I have my 2 that have come out, both my leads.
Explain what you mean by lead. Is that the one you keep taut, or is that the one that wraps around the one that's taut or tight?
Yes, I'm saying my leads are the ones that I've kept tight. So this one, both of these are in all of those Cheerios. So this one was the one that was all the way on the right up here. So I'm going to bring my left one over. I'm going to make my right one go over and through. And I'm going to do it one more time. Over, under, and through. So now you can see that my left was shorter. My right one came down and finished it off. And now my left one is longer, and my right one is shorter. So that's what Emily was talking about when she said she goes back and forth. Does that make sense, Andrea? Yeah, I'll show it
Here,
again.
I can do mine because I haven't done the middle.
Okay.
So Andrea, on the one up here, I had my right ones and my left ones, and at the end I ended with these 2 in the middle. And I've already done that one, and I chose to lead with my left. I kept my left one taut, so this time I'm alternating, and I'm going to keep my right side taut, because this time, this one, the first row, the right side was shorter and the left side was longer. Now I'm going to do the opposite, so that it comes out even. So you're basically doing the exact same thing. You're just now combining the chords from the left and the right. So you've already done all of the ones on the right and all the ones on the left, and you have the 2 in the middle. So you take your right one, keep it taut, and you're doing your Cheerio around the right one 2 times. The clove, hitch, knot. So this time, this one's longer and this one's shorter. First time, this one was longer and this one was shorter. I don't know if you can see how they end in different places. So if I were to do a 3rd time through and end up with these 2 in the middle, I would make my left one taut at the end and do it the opposite side. Want it again? Okay. Take it out. So you've got your 2. This is how you make your V at the end. Otherwise, you'll just have this weird gap. If you just do the clove hitch heading in this direction with all of the ones on the right, and the clove hitch in this direction with all the ones on the left. So you just have to combine them. On the left side again, yes. Okay, I'm gonna do this first, and then Alexis, I'll do the left side after that. So I'm doing the right for this particular point. And then I'm gonna do a 3rd row, left side, bring it straight down. Get these out of the way. You're literally dropping the one that's going to wrap around it over and pull it through the loop. And then keep this one. Some people call it a guide cord too, because it's guiding you in the direction that you're going. So you want to, the guide cord stays tight, and then this one, drop it over and pull it through. Take the next one, keep it guiding, drop it over, pull it through the loop, drop it over, pull it through the loop. And again, with holding this in the middle and using your finger to guide, you just wrap it around and pull it through the middle. Something else that can happen while you're doing these, I don't know if you can tell, I actually haven't been pulling mine as tight. So my guide wasn't staying where it was supposed to, and it's starting to pull away. And so some of you may end up with a little bit of distance there, and that's because you weren't being as intentional to keep your guide or your one that's supposed to be taught in the same place. And I just did it too, and it happens. So you just take it out and you do it again. So this time I'll pull that one a little bit tighter and then do it again. So see how that's better lined up. So for the sake of time, and just because, and also some of you may be like, okay, I think I've got all of this and I may be done. I have 3 on one side, 2 on the other. One thing I wanted to make sure I point out, and then after this, we'll stay on and answer questions and show you guys again and finish everything. Once you get your keychain / card diffuser the way you want it to look, 3 lines on both sides, you can then trim them at the bottom to whatever length you prefer. So some of them, you may want them a little bit shorter. Some of them, you may want them longer. This one I made, this was actually an ornament I made, and I did these super short. So I typically trim along the lines, and then sometimes I keep them just straight. And then if you have a little brush, you can brush them out and make them fringy, or you can keep them together like that. And then for the card diffuser, if you have your lava bead, it does go over this cord, I promise. Actually got 2 on this one. I normally put, I have a different bead because I ran out of lava beads, but I put my, I make it wet. Lava bead in. And for the keychain, you can use the fringe on your keychain as a place to put the oil. So I like to have, in my car, I like to have a car diffuser with calming oils, especially in Nashville traffic. It's not going through mine right now. Of course not. Oh, my phone just died. I'll just do this. So you want to put your lava bead on the cord, and then you tie it onto it. So I'll still work on that